In this video, we're going to talk about the all-new Rossignol Sushi. This is a board that's part of that volume shift technology, so you can ride it smaller. This is a powder board that rails turns. You can carve it on a groomer. You can take it into a bank slalom. This is one of those boards that it's not just limited to being a powder board, it can also be a bank slalom board. It's definitely one of those boards that you could have in your quiver. It is specialized. This board features Rossignol's AmpTech Elite Camber Profile, which is 60% camber into a 20% rocker in the tip and 20% rocker in the tail. Basically, it's cam rocker. So you load it up like traditional camber, but it's going to engage that rocker, making it a little more loose out at the contact points, a bit easier to press with. It's going to be better in powder. Okay, so the Sushi is a new board for Rossignol this year, and it's part of that genre of short and fat little surfy pow boards. Now, some of them tend to be stiffer to compensate for their lack of length. This is actually super playful. It does have a directional flex, which means softer nose going into a stiffer tail. You'll notice right in front of the first insert pack that it starts to drastically stiffen up as it heads to the tail. But there still is a decent amount of torsional flex. This board features Rossignol's light core, which does a great job at dampening micro vibrations. But with that big rockered nose, you're still going to notice some flutter and chatter in there. It doesn't really resonate back under the front foot, which is nice. Overall, this board is lively, yet damp where it counts. You don't feel the micro vibrations. The only time you get bucked around is if you're in frozen death moguls trying to go as fast as possible. Then the board skips across them. It doesn't necessarily flex with them like it should. This board is predominantly camber, but there's next to no tail on it, which means even when you load that camber zone up, you don't get that nice leverage off the tail to really roll and pop with it. Instead, you're coming right off your back foot. That's where all the snap is. So the more you personally put in as a rider is the more you're going to get out of it. It's not the snappiest board out there, but it does do a solid job. Look at this thing. You think you're going to go out and butter with it? This thing is more for surfing and doing slashes and cutbacks than it is buttering. I did them. It wasn't fun. It's not what I would recommend. There's other micro boards out there that are better for buttering. I'll talk about those in another review. For this one, fuck it, move on. So we've established that this is one of those micro surfboards. It's one of those boards for going out and slashing and turning with. How does it carve? Really well, but you're going to do all your carving and initiation from the back foot through the center of the board. The nose is just going to lift right off. In fact, the front foot really doesn't engage the edge unless you're just doing mellow carves. If you're ripping hard carves, it comes completely from the back foot. This is a board for someone that understands that you're going to be doing a lot of turning with this board, a lot of flexing it from the back foot, really just steering it from the back foot. This board is really for the resort powder rider that spends more time in the trees, someone that wants something that's very nimble and small that they can kind of surf around in. It does well in wide open pow, but it's truthfully at home getting into tight trees and just running them like a bank slalom course. I had a lot of fun on this thing, and I have a bunch of volume shifted boards, and I'm considering replacing one of mine with this. So if that isn't an endorsement, I don't know what else is. The Sushi's a new deck, obviously, from Rossignol, and it's part of that volume shift category that I've reviewed a fuck ton of boards for. So what other decks are out there that stack up to it? The Marhar Woodsman, the Ride Warpig, the Rome Powder Division Swallowtail, the Libtech MC Steptail, the Spring Break Slush Slasher, the K2 Cool Bean. Remember to comment, share, subscribe, and like this video. That way you can see all the relevant or irrelevant snowboarding content that we're putting out for you guys. So smash that bell down below, that way you're getting a notification. And I'll see you guys in another video. If you've been enjoying all these product reviews and you haven't been buying through our affiliate program, which is down there, why don't you check out our Patreon? This is a great way for you to get involved with us. There's some great rewards on there, and it helps fund us so we can do more product reviews for you guys that enjoy what we're doing.